Today I'm going to show you how to change out a CO2 valve. A CO2 valve is used in the industry in various effects, from LSG machines to CO2 jets. It's used in rock and roll shows, it's used in live shows, used in corporate events, it's used in films, movies, commercials. Can't think of any better way to show you than to do it in the field. All right, let's get started. Okay, as explained before, the CO2 valve, which is right here, this blue valve, it's under constant pressure, it takes cold, and we're using it for our pirate ship cannons. So we're going to start taking this out. We've got to loosen up this union right here, this union fitting, and then take it off, take this out, and then change it again, change it out. As you can see, the CO2 valve right here has its electronics coming in. It's got high pressure stainless steel braided line, and it has a ball valve here for emergency shutoff. Okay, to begin with, I start by removing the electronics. There's a screw right here which takes a regular small screwdriver, and we'll take that out. So I'm taking off the coil. The coil is the electronics that basically pulls the magnet, using an electromagnet to open and close the valve. I'm going to take that out. Now, if you have a bad coil, in this particular case, this one's been sticking on, so we're changing it out. And you only need to change this part of it, the coil, the actual coil, which I'll show you that in a minute. I release the screw, and then I pull this off. Let me go over it again. You have a coil where the electronics comes into, the power source. In this case, it's 110. This uses 110, but not all coils are 110, so be aware of that. They can be DC, they can be 24 volts AC, they can be 110 volts AC, they can be high pressure, they can be low pressure. So make sure you know which valve you're using and which coil goes to which valve. To get this coil off the top of this, I just release this nut right here. It's right on top. Can't miss it. I just pull this off. Make sure I don't lose any parts here. And I pull the coil off. 110 voltage AC. Now, if you look closely at the valve, you can see that there's a lot of corrosion here, a lot of weathering from being used and being out in the elements. Even though it's under shelter, it's got cold and it gets damp in here, and humidity. We're in Florida, so humidity is going to take a toll, and you can see how it's basically starting to get corroded. Now, there's a good chance that this valve isn't that bad. I mean, occasionally, most of the time it works. And sometimes it sticks open. That's why we're replacing it today. But I can take this back to the shop. I can clean it up. I can test it. I can run CO2 through it, and probably be good to go. So I don't throw these away. I tend to put them in something else, not on a show, but I can use them for other things. So to take it off, to take this out of here, I start by releasing this union. This is a plumbing union. This is brass. I don't use any galvanized fittings on my effects because of the cold. I'm using a 10-inch standard crescent wrench and an 8-inch to actually undo the fitting, the union, and I'm holding it back, as they say, holding it back, keeping it from moving with a smaller 8-inch crescent wrench, and then I just turn. There we go. There you go. I've released it from the effect, the cannon. This goes out to the field. This is a pirate ship, so it goes out to the field. And there you have it. That's off. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off and this off, so I'll have this, and I'm going to replace this, the coil, and the electronics, and we should be good to go. Rather than have to stand here and take this off with 2 wrenches, which is very awkward and can actually be painful sometimes, I like to take the thing over to a vise and take it apart if I can, if there is a vise. To do that, I have to release these 2 hoses from these tanks, bring it over to a vise. Once again, I take my 10-inch wrench and I loosen up these tank fittings. Okay, I want to show you real quick that inside this fitting, which I just took off the bottle, the tank, the 50-pound bottle, is a CO2 washer, okay? It needs a washer every time it goes on the tank or you're going to have leaks. Washers can come in various colors. So I've taken it over here and I put it in my rusty old vise. A little bit of rusty there. No big deal, but I've got the ball valve, body of the ball valve captured in the vise, and I'm going to remove all this. Decided to reuse this 1/4-inch hex nipple because there's no leaks from the valve to here, and this is still a perfectly good valve. So I've decided to reuse this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to rebuild all this, take this out, take that out, and then install the new valve. Switch from the 10-inch crescent wrench to an 11/16 combination wrench. The reason for that is I didn't feel I was getting a tight enough grip with the crescent wrench, so I got the 11/16 wrench. And you have to be careful because these fittings are brass and they can tend to be soft, especially if your crescent wrench slips. So I switched to 11/16. Gives me a more satisfactory result. Just undo that fitting. Set that aside for now, and then I take it out of the vise, I turn it over so I can go after the other fitting. Let's see if my 11/16 combination fits here. Yes, it does. Okay. So I take this fitting out, just like that. You can see the other half of the union right here. That's a good example of the union. There you go. Okay. If you look on the body of the valve, once again, there's the valve stem right there, bottom of the valve. Okay. Now, you have to know, be aware of your direction of flow, people, because this particular valve only goes in one direction. So if you get it backwards, your valve's not going to work. On this one, on the bottom of the valve, you can see, if you look where my thumb is, the letters IN. That means in. That means my pressure, turn it like this, I mean my pressure is going to go, my flow, not necessarily my pressure, but my flow is going to go that way, and it's going to go that way out to the effect. So make sure before you change these valves out that you look for an indication of which way the flow is going. Teflon tape used for gas. Find any plumbing store. Home Depot sells it. Okay. want to make sure you Teflon all your fittings. Okay, here's the fittings that I took off. Okay, before I put Teflon on there though, I want to clean them. So I start the joyful task. I take a little wire brush, start the joyful task of cleaning, getting this old Teflon off. Hold it up like this. Get the union back on. Decided to use my 11/16 combination wrench. My holdback on one side of the fitting. Nice and tight. Star washer in there, and a nut.